That's good. Those apples, there's still just like a slight crunch, kind of like you would get in homemade applesauce before the apples are all broken down. But they're just so soft, they just kind of melt in your mouth. Hey everyone, it's Katie, and I'm here today with Pazazz apples that you can pick up in Meijer and Kroger stores. And I'm gonna teach you a really fun family recipe with a twist. I chose to use Pazazz apples because they have this wonderful sweet and tart flavor when you bite into them, and the crunch is to die for. So we're gonna be making cinnamon apple monkey bread. Pazazz cinnamon apple monkey bread. And we're gonna go ahead and get started right now. This is a family recipe. My mother-in-law makes it every Christmas, and we have it for breakfast on Christmas morning. However, I'm adding the Pazazz apples for a little twist. I am using an IKEA cake pan, which I've already greased with spray oil. But my mother-in-law uses a bundt cake pan, which I think is beautiful, just the detail and how the dough falls into it and it comes out and it looks so wonderful is amazing. But I don't have one of those. Add that to my Christmas list. So I will be using the cake pan today. I did mention it was a family recipe, but we're gonna use a little easy way. We're gonna use the refrigerated cinnamon rolls. You can use Pillsbury, you can use store brand. I'm using one of each today. Really, really good, really easy. Told you it was a family recipe. So to get started, we're gonna make our cinnamon sugar mixture right here in this bowl. We're gonna use half a cup of sugar. Yes, that's right in here. And I'm gonna use two teaspoons of cinnamon. I haven't quite decided. We really like cinnamon in our family. So whoops, yeah, a little bit went over, and that's fine because, as I mentioned, we really like cinnamon. So put that in there. Let me grab a fork real quick just to kind of mix that in together. A lot of times people use a large Ziploc bag. That would be really easy to do because then you can roll the dough around in it, and we're also gonna be rolling our apples today. So we're just gonna mix this in. It smells so good, and once we add the apples, just the flavors and the fragrances that are gonna be coming off of this are gonna be amazing. I have preheated, and we're gonna set this aside. I've preheated the oven to 350 degrees. That's what we're gonna do. And what I'm gonna do is take our Pazazz apples. You probably only really need one for this recipe. So look at this, aren't they beautiful? Just their ruby red color. Awesome. As I mentioned, you can get these at Kroger and Meijer from about fall to late spring. So really great time to buy them right now. That's their peak season. I'm going to go ahead and wash these. I don't really know how like everyone else washes their fruit. I just give it a good rinse unless it looks really crazy. But also in this case, we're gonna be peeling and chopping the apple. I'm using my apple machine here, which is really fun. My son, this is like his job in our family. You just kind of pull this thing back, scoot it, and I think we're gonna set it in this way. Stick the prongs right through it, and then you start twisting, and watch what it does. There, you can chop an apple a normal way, but I just love peeling it this way. It's really fun. Look at how beautiful that looks. Even the red just kind of goes like right through the skin. You can hear how crunchy this apple is too. So if you're into crunchy apples, this one's for you. And then just light it right off. Got a fun little spiral apple, which really doesn't matter for the recipe. Just adding a little fun here for us. It's a great recipe to bring your kids in to do. I'm making this before my kids wake up to surprise them. So what we're gonna do here is just chop this up real quick. I don't know what kind of knife. I'm not really like a chef. I just kind of cook at home for my family. So I don't have all of the appropriate things. I don't know when you're supposed to use things, but look at this gorgeous Pazazz apple. and it smells so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so go get those for you. They're amazing. So this apple descended from the Honeycrisp, but it has its own unique flavor. And what I love about that is everyone loves the Honeycrisp apple, just the sweetness, but then the unique tartness of the Pazazz is going to make our monkey bread award-winning. All right, so what we're gonna do now is take our cinnamon and sugar. Well, I wanna show you like the best part of this, why it's a little family recipe here. We're gonna take the dough, and if you know me, you know that things that pop are not my favorite. Champagne, balloons, and then, oh goodness, refrigerated dough. Get ready for it. Ooh, yeah, the anticipation is what kills me. My daughter had an eye exam the other day, and you know when they put that poof of air in your eye, like it wasn't even happening to me, but the anticipation of it was just too much. All right, so we take all the cinnamon rolls out, and this one has already the perfect disbursement of cinnamon into these cinnamon rolls. And it's not really unfolding perfectly, but we don't need it to because we're not making cinnamon rolls. We are making apple cinnamon monkey bread with Pazazz apples. So this is pretty much just our vehicle to get the delicious Pazazz snack into our face. All right, so that's the store brand one. And again, doesn't matter the brand when it comes to the dough. The only time in this recipe that the brand matters is with the apples because we want that sweet tartness. Here we go. Oh, it says to use a spoon. Does anyone out there actually use a spoon? We're gonna take the icing that comes with it and just set it aside because we will be using that later. See, I told you this was so simple. So this one, instead of having the cinnamon kind of inside the folds of it, it has it on the outside, the top. That might be additional. This smells so good. And then the apples are just coming into play here. So wonderful. Whew. All right. We're gonna take all of our trash. We've got a little trash can down here. And super easy. You can slice these however you want. I'm cutting them into fourths. You can do more or less. Fourths makes it probably a good size for that monkey bread because these are just little individual pieces that we're gonna put into our cake pan. It's also kind of been called pull apart bread. I've heard that before because you pull the pieces off once it's been cooked. So you have to make these pieces just bite size. There's no silverware going to be used here. These are just pieces that people are going to be able to pull off with their fingers and place on their plate or right into their mouth. And we're going to have yummy apple chunks in there. So cutting the biscuits into fourths is perfect. We are using cinnamon rolls here. I know that my mother-in-law uses just like the refrigerated biscuits. They're plain, and then you kind of add more of your own cinnamon and sugar and even brown sugar to it to give it that flavor. But in this case, we're using less of our own because it's already been put on here for the recipe that Pillsbury or the store has put in. All right, got 2 more biscuits to cut. I'm using a pizza cutter, as you can see. Again, not a big, look at that, I have the metal piece still on here. That would not have been delicious. I'm not like a chef or anything. I just cook real meals for my real family. And this is the easiest way to do it, but a knife would be fine too. I just thought this was pretty quick. All right, so we're done with that. I mentioned I already greased our pan, and we have our apple cinnamon sugar, our cinnamon sugar mixture right here. We are gonna toss our apples in here. And because I used the apple machine and it was spirals, these are just like wonderful bite-sized pieces. You guys, best apple that I've ever tasted from the grocery store. So delicious. All right, so those are our Pazazz apples in there. Maybe we'll just put half in to start. I think that's what we're gonna do because I wanna kind of have different layers of the apple in there. So we'll just do about half. All right, so we're gonna mix it up in here, kind of get it covered and coated. And then we're gonna use our pan and put our first layer down in here and just sprinkle it there. Because this is the bottom of the pan, you guys know that when we pop it out, this should be the top of the pan. And if you're using a bundt pan, it'd be just as easy. But again, you'll get that beautiful decorative side. I would love a bundt pan. Maybe next year. Oh, the smell of this is just driving me crazy. The fragrance is so good. It makes me think of fall. It makes me think of the holidays. It makes me think of camping. Have you ever made like apple cobbler over the campfire? This would be a really good apple to do that with. So wonderful. All right, so we've done that. Now what we're gonna do is, you don't really have to put a lot of cinnamon and sugar on these pieces because they are already complete with their own. But we're gonna go ahead and start putting our bread pieces in here on top of the apples. So I have the apples layered in there, and now I'm just putting our dough pieces in here. Again, these are gonna be like pull apart dough. So let's see. Delicious. And because we normally use 2 of these in our family for our recipe, but I'm thinking because of the size of the pan, we might need to break out a 3rd can of the cinnamon sugar rolls. What do you guys think? It's not really filling the pan. So yeah, I think we're gonna go with a 3rd can of this. Generally 2 is enough with a bundt and a family our size, but because we're just using the cake pan, I think we're gonna go a different route. So delicious. This is gonna be amazing. And then we'll pop it in the oven and see what we get. So let me know if you guys have any questions about this recipe, about Pazazz apples. I'll do my very best to answer them for you. Let me go grab that other can out of here. I'm just reaching into the fridge now. Oh look, we have another one and it's a different store brand. So again, with the dough, it's not gonna really matter what brand you use. You can even make your own dough, which would be a very cost-effective way to do this. Here we go with the popping again. Not my favorite part. Ooh, all right. So we'll get some more dough out here. We'll get it cut up. But now that we've added a layer here of the dough, we're gonna go ahead and put another layer of our Pazazz apples. So if you're using a cake pan, I would maybe even cut up a 2nd apple or another half and put those in there so we could have more Pazazz throughout. And then we'll just cut these up. You wanna use a knife, super easy. And then just pour those in there like that. Make sure I've got all my things going on here. Mostly I kind of want to just cover up the apples. This would be a great after-school snack. It's a wonderful breakfast. Great for special occasions. My kids are gonna love this. They're gonna wonder if it's Christmas because this is our traditional Christmas morning treat. But Christmas, it is not. The apple by itself is also super delicious. Again, if you're looking for Pazazz apples, just pick them up at Meijer or Kroger. I got mine at Kroger today. Do any of you guys do Click List? I saw that they're changing the name. They're not gonna call it Click List anymore because they have other grocery services that they're now offering. But today I did get my Pazazz apples at the Click List. Drive up, just love pulling up, bringing it out to my car. I'm telling you, grocery shopping will never be the same. I did not roll these ones in the cinnamon sugar, but these are so cinnamony. I can just taste it here. So we'll just kind of take the cinnamon and just put it over the top a little bit here. Let's cut this guy. He's not gonna be a bite-sized piece if we don't. This is real cooking, guys. You never know if it's gonna work, but here we are. That'll be delicious. All right, let me rinse my hands. We have about 1/4 cup of melted butter here, the real thing, and I'm gonna pour it over. I'm wondering if we should maybe use a little more because of the size of the pan that we're using, but we're just gonna go with it. The butter is so delicious, you guys. The butter, the cinnamon, the sugar, the apples. This is gonna wake everybody up in my house with a sweet, sweet smell. Okay, so there we have our Pazazz apple cinnamon monkey cake, monkey bread, pull apart bread, whatever you wanna call it. We're gonna go ahead and pop it in the oven right now, and we're gonna give it like about 40 minutes, all right? 40 minutes, we want it to be golden brown across the top, and we'll see if I made a mistake putting that 3rd can in there, but I think this is gonna be amazing. Let's check it out. All right, we'll see you guys in 40 minutes, but don't worry, through the magic of live television, it won't be 30 minutes or 40 minutes. We'll see you soon. All right, guys, do you hear that? Alexa, stop. Okay, so we had our timer set. I ended up actually only baking it for about 35 minutes, and I think that we're good. We'll find out. Fingers crossed. So took it out of the oven. I have it cooling back here. It's been cooling for 10 minutes, and now we're gonna go ahead and place it on this platter. I'm picking a pretty large platter just because I need the space for it. I don't really have anything in between. I have like a dinner plate size, and I've got this. But I also thought it'd be really fun to like chop up some Pazazz apple slices and put them around. That might like look really fun for breakfast, just to add a little more apple to our day. So let's check this out. Still pretty hot. I could probably touch it, but I'm not gonna take our chances. So it's pretty pulled apart from the side of the pan. I'm not gonna worry about running a knife or anything through. Oh. All right, yeah, I think we're gonna still use this in case any hot butter comes out. So we're gonna flip it upside down right here. And then pull off the side of the pan. Oh, smells so delicious. And let's see if we can use our fingers here. Oh yeah, a little bit warm. Okay, so we're gonna pull the pan off. Oh my gosh, the apples look amazing in here. So good. So check that out. Look, it's like so caramelized. You can still see the steam coming off of it. Oh my gosh. It smells so good. You know when you visit the farm in the fall and there's like, I'm salivating here. There's like those apple donuts and elephant ears. This is like the homemade version of that using a very delicious apple. So we have it here. We're supposed to take it out of the pan and then let it cool even longer, maybe like 10 minutes. And then after that, this is where that icing comes into play that came in those packets. So that's the benefit of using the cinnamon and sugar cinnamon rolls from either Pillsbury or the store is that you already have the icing. But otherwise, just make your favorite, I don't know, powdered sugar icing recipe. I actually think this would be amazing just on its own. I cannot wait to eat this, you guys. Okay. So, I love these ones that come in the little squeeze packet. That's gonna make, like, you can do really pretty things with it. If you have any skill at all, which I don't, but we'll find out. But then there's the spreadable kind. So you'll have to just kind of figure that out depending on what yours comes with. So if you're gonna use spreadable, this is sort of what it'll look like. It'll get all ooey gooey melty still. You can just kind of spread it on there like that. But I'm pretty excited about the squeezing ones because I really want that effect of it just dripping down the middle and down the sides. But we'll just do this for some coverage up here. And then we'll get the good ones out. So look at that. Even with the spreading, it's still melting. So you don't want it to be like completely cooled, but you also don't want it to be so warm that it just drips off completely and you have nothing left on top. So there we go. All right. Now we will try it. Gotta get in my little mommy drunk drawer over here. Did I say drunk? Mommy junk drawer. Gotta speak a little more clear. All right. And then we can just sort of like drizzle this on the sides and down in the middle. I mean, you don't have to be super talented to do this, but if you have any sort of talent in the kitchen, this yours will look way better than mine. So this is definitely beautiful and delicious. Oh yeah, it's gonna run down the sides. So just kind of put it along the edges like that. And then you can do the same thing on the center portion. Now remember, we used 3 different cinnamon roll packages. So we have 3 to choose from. But I mean, this is a lot. And like I said, you wouldn't even need this. Like if you wanted to go a little bit healthier or just really rely on the sweetness of the apples and the cinnamon and sugar that's already in the recipe, you don't need this. This is just cake, if you will. So, and then now we're like pretty much ready. You can spread it around a little bit more. We'll let it get a little more melty. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, we don't need all of that. So, just kind of spread this out a little here. Oh, so delicious. So it doesn't look so much like lime since I did it with the packet. But there we have our Pazazz apple cinnamon monkey bread. Delicious. Smells so good. I'm gonna go eat this, you guys. You wanna watch me eat it, don't you? I wanna make sure I got an apple chunk in here. Oh yeah. Remember how I said you could just pull it off and you don't need a fork? This is a fork one. That's good. Those apples, there's still just like a slight crunch, kind of like you would get in homemade applesauce before the apples are all broken down. They're just so soft, they just kind of melt in your mouth. So this is probably a cake that we're gonna use a fork with after all because I went with the icing. Next time I might not do the icing. I really think that standalone it would be fine. But I kind of wanted to make it look a little pretty on here. We'll see. I'm going to clean up around there, slice up some more Pazazz apples and set them on the side. So super easy. I'll drop the recipe in a link below. And you can make this at home too. Really delicious. Don't forget, you can get Pazazz apples at Meijer and Kroger here in the Indianapolis area. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm going to go get my kids up so they can try this. Have a great day.